Hi everyone, welcome to Green Simplicity. It's your girl Tooka, and today I have a special video of 30 lessons that I've learned in 30 years since it is my 30th birthday today. I will be sending it in isolation with my dog, but that's fine as long as we're all safe and healthy. I do hope that you're spending your time in quarantine wisely. Without further ado, let's get to the 30 lessons. I just want to let you know that I've divided them into 3 categories based on the 3 principles of my life, and that is to make life more serene, sustainable, and simple. So each 10 items fall into one of these categories. I will begin by what has made my life more serene. The first lesson is Mama knows best, and it couldn't be more true in my case. My mother always knows what's best for me. The second lesson that I've learned in the past 30 years is to have patience. I'm a highly impatient person, and I've always ended up in situations where I had to wait for a very, very long time, and I've actually learned to be very patient. The third lesson that I've learned is to be grateful. Gratitude is something that I did not used to practice regularly, but now I realize that I am so privileged for everything that I have, especially in the difficult times that we're spending nowadays. The fourth lesson is to be truthful. Sometimes being truthful has gotten me into trouble, but I recently read this somewhere and it said that when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. The fifth lesson is to be giving. If you see artists on the road or musicians, give them some change. You will definitely help them out even if you think that you won't. I used to be a street artist in Brazil for a while, and at the end of the day, when all the change that people give to me accumulate, I can pay for my hostel, I can buy food. It really helps out. The sixth lesson is to not settle for less. Whether that's in a job where you feel like you need to get paid more, you should definitely speak up. Or if you're in a relationship where you just feel like you're dumbing yourself down or lowering your standards, you should never settle for less. The seventh lesson I've learned is to quit the victim mentality. If you fall, probabilities that most people are going to enjoy it, just watch it and laugh at you. So are you going to stay down there, or are you going to get up, dust yourself off, and start climbing the ladder? The eighth lesson is to embrace fear. I used to be fearful of a lot of things, and then I realized actually being fearful is not the problem. It's how you use that fear and how you transmute that energy to attain what you like. Now I use the energy of fear to overcome a lot of obstacles. The only thing that you should fear is fear itself. The ninth lesson I've learned is to enjoy solitude. I used to be the kind of person that had a lot of friends. Now I realize that I only need a few quality friends. When I'm alone, I tend to become very productive. I start to do a lot of things, and solitude is actually something that's very beneficial to me, and I really appreciate the time that I do have by myself. The 10th lesson that I've learned to make my life more serene is to turn my thoughts into action. You can also call this manifestation, but it's basically being very mindful of your thoughts. If I do have ideas that come to me, then look into how I can turn them into reality. Now we're on to the second category, and that is how I make my life more sustainable. And with that, the 11th lesson that I've learned is to recycle. I talk about this all the time. Please, it's not that difficult. There are recycling bins all over cities, all around the world. All you have to do is to divide your plastic, paper, glass, metal, and compost and throw them in the designated bins. The 12th lesson that I've learned is to reuse the items, whether I repurpose them or repair them. I try to make use of them before getting rid of them. The 13th lesson, I've noticed that a lot of people, even here in Europe, still don't adhere to it, and that is don't litter. Littering says a lot about someone's character. They may be very extravagant, have a nice car, and so on, but if they are littering the floor, to me, they just lack education. The 14th lesson that I've learned is to reduce transportation. Some of the ways you can do that are, for example, if you're going to the grocery store and it's only a 10-minute walk away, don't drive your car, just walk or ride your bicycle. Or for example, you can travel less. Obviously right now nobody's traveling because of the pandemic situation, but traveling all the time just for pleasure actually causes a lot of pollution. The tourism industry is actually highly responsible for most of the pollution in the world, so we want to cut that down. The 15th lesson I've learned is to quit fast fashion. If today it's the chunky sports shoes that are in fashion and you go and buy them, and then tomorrow it's the skinny sports shoes, and you keep going back and forth on a yearly basis, you've definitely been sucked into what is called fast fashion, and that is something that's addictive, and you need to quit it today. Try to buy items that last long, that are high quality, and that have a design that is very classic, that will last you a couple of decades. The 16th lesson I've learned, and actually I didn't even learn it, it just came naturally to me, and that is to adopt instead of shopping. There are lots of animals in shelters all around the world that need a home, and there's no point in going and buying an animal. I will put the link to the nearest shelter to me in the description box below. The 17th lesson that I've learned is to reduce my cleaning products. I don't need a different product to clean the floor, to clean the kitchen, to clean the bathroom, to clean the windows. I've narrowed it all down to dishwashing detergent, washing powder, baking soda, and vinegar. The 18th lesson that I've learned is to carry a reusable water bottle and a reusable bag when I go grocery shopping, and that has cut down my waste by so much. The 19th lesson that I've learned is to pick up trash. You can even join some cleanup groups or outside and you see trash lying around, please pick it up. I mean, the person who threw it in the first place might not be educated, but you're educated enough to pick up the trash and put it in the nearest bin. I'm actually going to put the link to the beach cleanup group, Marameo, in the description box below. The 20th item, and actually the last item that makes my life more sustainable, is that I have very much reduced my plastic waste consumption. There's so many items that I've cut out from my grocery list just so that I can reduce my plastic consumption. Now we move on to the third category, and that is to make my life more simple. The 21st lesson that I've learned to make my life more simple is to have a morning routine. The morning routine is the most essential part of my day. There are certain things that I have to get done in the morning. For example, I have to walk my dog, I have to get my bed done, I have to get a good breakfast, some yoga, and without doing these essential things in the morning part, I feel like my day is just not the same. The 22nd lesson that I've learned is to declutter. When I declutter, I just feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and I highly recommend you do that too. The 23rd lesson that I've learned is to focus on one main task per day. I might have a lot of things that I need to get done, but for each day, I only choose one task. So for instance, today I'm only focusing on filming this video and editing the content and having it ready by the time my birthday rolls around tomorrow morning. The 24th lesson that I've learned to simplify my life is to use multi-purpose items. For example, I use only one butcher knife to cut and peel all kinds of vegetables and fruits that I have in my kitchen. The 25th lesson that I've learned is to stay healthy. When you eat well and when you're healthy, you're less likely to have health problems and complications, and that just saves you a lot of time and money. The 26th lesson I've learned is to write it down. When I have a good idea or I just have these thoughts, instead of just keeping them in my head, I do write them down, and writing really helps me. The 27th lesson I've learned is to enjoy the little things. I really didn't used to like walking even before the pandemic, but the highlight of my day within the last year or so really became the nature walks that I would take with my dog, and I learned to appreciate these little moments that are so blissful. The 28th lesson I've learned is to say no. And that's something I've learned to do, and it really has simplified my life a lot because I say no to activities that don't concern me. I say no to people that I don't want to be involved with. The 29th lesson I've learned is to have smaller goals. I have these really big goals in general, but I know that it will take probably a year up to 5 years to reach them. So what I've done is to have much smaller goals set at like more realistic, closer timelines. The last but not least lesson that I've learned in this life is to have faith. And it doesn't have to be in a religious context. It's just knowing that everything will be all right at the end of the day. There's so many difficult situations that I was in the last couple of years, situations that I thought I would never come out even alive out of them, but I did, and I became better and stronger each time. So those were the 30 lessons that I've learned in my 30 years of life. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye!